Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Zafer, and welcome to episode 2 of the Cool Breeze podcast. Hashtag the Cool Breeze podcast. And today I'm going to actually have a chat with Kevin. He is the CEO, founder of electrofans.com. And we are going to talk to him today. I'm going to chat with him and see what's going on. Hit him up. Hope it works.
Hello, this is Kevin.
Hey, what's up, Kevin? This is Donovan.
Donovan, how's it going, man? How you
Hey,
doing?
man. It's going good, brother. How are you doing?
Great. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, good to hear from you.
Oh, you as well, you as well. So, man, finally, I get to meet the man behind Electro Fans and meet the spark and energy
Yeah.
that you exhibit. So, I mean, can you just tell me just a little bit
Thanks.
about what's going on in your world?
Yeah, let's see. Kind of busy. I mean, as maybe you could imagine, yeah. So I was thinking, I actually start by describing myself a bit. Is that so? By trade, quote unquote, I'm actually a web kind of guy, a web developer. So
Mm-hmm.
I created Electrofans, I think originally like around. Actually, I think originally it goes back to 2013 or something like that. I think I started setting up like the what's the term, like a beta version site,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
probably like 2014 it was kind of like started to go live. But yeah, like so before that I was doing like a lot of web stuff. And obviously, here in San Francisco, so I'm from Michigan originally, but I've been living here inside of San Francisco since like 2010. So obviously this is a
Okay.
place for web type people. So what I'm actually doing is, in addition to the electric fence stuff, looking for regular gigs in web. So, um, so once I start that, it's going to be, time crunch. So I'm trying to do what I can now. But electric fence front, yeah, things have been. It's like I think it's possibly getting ready to turn a corner. Because
Ah, it looks
this last,
great, man.
uh,
It looks so good. I'm looking at
yeah,
your website and
yeah,
I've
thanks,
seen your improvement from back when I first
yeah,
discovered it, and it
uh
looks
huh.
great. So, what made you start Electro Fans as a whole? Like, what just came into your head and you were like, I just want to make this because, your passion?
Yeah, that's an excellent one too. Yeah. So again, originally kind of going back to around 2013 or so. See, this is really kind of like really going back to it too. So, the web domain name electrofans.com. I actually bought that name I think in 2008 or nine. I mean, it's like nowadays it's like ancient history going that far back. It seems like with things, but I think I actually bought that domain name, registered the name
Mm-hmm.
electrofans.com in like 2008. Just
Okay.
thinking, okay, well, just park it, and grab that name. Because what it originally was, like the name, my intention of the name Electro Fans was to be like short for electronic music fans. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Because I kind of felt like that, if I created a site called electronicmusicfans.com, it's kind of okay. That's just too long of a name. So,
Uh-huh.
but as far as the why, yeah. So back to maybe around that time too, around '08, '09, I
Mm-hmm.
really started getting into like I started listening to podcasts, and it's kind of crazy too, man. Because I remember, I think it was around '08, maybe around 2008. I think that's when Above and Beyond started,
Okay.
that AVGT stuff, and I think Armin van Buuren and Tiesto, club, he had a thing like, I forget what it was, like Club Life. I even kind of remember that's around that
Wow.
time. That's when those guys started doing those first podcasts. Like, I remember
Yeah.
downloading those, and I still got like the first like 10 of those or whatever. So, I started really getting into like the energy of the whole thing, like the
Yeah.
trance kind of stuff. And but as far as wanting to make the site, that was getting me going up to like 2013 or so. I just started really, it was just a major passion. And even then then it was a lot of progressive house stuff, like
Yeah.
guys like Prof and Kana. It's kind of amazing too, like Kana, the Japanese uh, producer woman.
Yeah.
Um, I was a fan of her music back then, stuff like that. I just loved all that stuff, and I started thinking, well, maybe as a kind of create as a way to like catalog like a lot of my favorite artists, like Prof or whatever, and just
Okay.
create like stuff for them, and it kind of grew from. Actually, yeah, it's funny because like on the Electrofans Music family,
Yeah.
the post number one, the first post I made, I think I kind of described like a little bit of the story as to why
Uh-huh.
I created it. And it was
Sure.
sort of like just a way to catalog artists, and then it kind of grew from there. And it's kind of made a few transformations. Yeah, like previous to so now it's funny. Well, now it's like about a year now. I think August of last year, I turned the whole thing over to a blog style format. But before that, it was more maybe like which it still is sort of like a portal and like expose and like articles, but it's a combination. Yeah, and thanks for the feedback. Yeah, I've heard too that
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it looks it's kick ass, man. I really hammered a lot of the design that I customized for another thing I came across, and I think it's where yeah, like last month or so I made some. You like it's more like a white background with like the orange power button icon. Do you like that
Yeah,
more than like the
it
Fuse?
looks very
Yeah.
sleek, it looks very nice. So,
Mhm.
so
Cool. Yeah.
how can this help out like um artists and stuff that are like, that might find you or, an upcoming artist that's in the scene and they hear about sending music to blogs and you are a music blog, how could this help out, using this, how can this help out the artist in your I guess opinion?
Um, well, I think mainly just to get exposure. If we feature artists, especially
Mm-hmm.
some of the people that are writers for the site, like Luna Shimada, she posts a lot of. I've actually discovered
Mm-hmm.
myself a couple of Japanese artists. I think one guy was an Australian artist that she made a post
Yeah.
about, and it's kind of grows the network for that. But as far as just give them exposure, because
Yeah.
the thing too is that the Electrofans network, it's really what really is sort of like a network too. It's like
Okay.
the blog, but it's through the podcast and the SoundCloud, and there's maybe about going on upwards of 4,000, almost 4,000 probably followers combined in the network, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice network. So it's like if someone uh, say made a post on the blog, could potentially hit not only like 3,000 or 4,000 people, but some quality people. I mean, on Twitter account too, and Instagram, there's some nice like all kinds of things like music academies and other like music blog things that could see that. So
Yeah.
it's really, I mean, one of the things I really need to do too is really do a lot of reach outs to some of the people that recently followed me because I got some. There's still a ton of stuff that
Yeah.
that I want to do with it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think just get exposure, and I think it's the quality of the network too. Like I've
Uh-huh.
been reading some articles recently too, which you probably agree with. Like, so there's different. Like some people, of course, like they get all excited, like, oh, I just posted a thing to something something has 1.5
Mm-hmm.
million like streams on YouTube. Like, yeah, sure, in a
Yeah.
way, and no doubt, I would like to get Electrofan stuff on something like that too. That had like 1.5 million subscribers or followers. But the thing about something like that though is that I mean, it's like those things like buy 25K followers for like 19.99.
Mm-hmm.
I know everyone's seen that. It's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like even if you know what I mean, even if you go do that, say like at EDM.com or something,
Yeah.
okay, for a repost, yeah, in a way, I could see somebody totally thinking, okay, it would be better for me to go and pay them like $20 or whatever the hell it would be to EDM.com to have to do a share on
Mm-hmm.
their, let's say their SoundCloud feed when they have like but yeah, just sort of like where I was at with it was that like, so
Uh-huh.
I actually feel like a smaller, really ideally probably like small to mid-sized network is really, it can have like even higher quality than say something that has like 1 million followers because you won't get lost in the fold. Yeah, you can stand out more.
Yeah, it's just more about like organically reaching or like pushing yourself out organically, by keeping your presence open and up on the space, like that's kind of the whole gist of it is pushing yourself out there and networking with other people that are doing the same thing, especially that like share the same vision as you or can make music along your lines or anything like that if you're looking for like a way to get out there. But a lot of it, man, it's just like if you, I don't know, man. I think what really attracts me is just the fact that the passion that you put into it. It's like the more you put into it, it's just amazing how far it can really reach without you even, you know, like you're not even really trying. It's just you're just doing it for the love of it, and it's just kind of reaching out real far for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, some of those, yeah, like some actually like fan kind of driven sites and networks. Yeah, they have like maybe like Pretend Penguin or
Mm-hmm.
other ones too. Like I think Luna Shimada's too. Like hers is kind
Yeah.
of like stuff like that, like fan driven things. They can have like massive, But you're right. It's really it's really consistency too. It's like posting.
Yeah.
You gotta make a lot of like I've read different things from producers too, like which is totally true that you gotta,
Mm-hmm.
which I know you totally fit this mold of. You gotta be out there and it's one thing to like I am too when I create the Electric Friends podcast, a
Yeah.
ultra perfectionist, but there comes a time and for producers too when you want to get the greatest mix, but there's a time when you got to just push it out. And one thing where I used to work was this guy, the office manager, had a sign as this: Done is better than perfect, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a good one for people in our field. Yeah, they're doing
Yeah.
this stuff. You gotta just push it out, and you're gonna have some less than perfect ones, but people will get to hear it. I know you've got like, how many releases have you done? Like probably, I mean, how many a month? Like how many tracks a month do you probably produce? Would you say release?
Well, for 2019, my plan is to do like one free download a week for the entire year of 2019. That's kind of like my strategy and game plan for
Wow.
2019. So I have 4 tracks basically a month coming out. Um, just starting out, I want to actually up the number. Um, Only reason why I haven't really upped it is because I'm kind of learning a lot as I go on this like super consistent release schedule.
Uh-huh.
And but I want it to be free for whoever really wants it. So if you really want my music
Yeah.
and you're like, I really like this guy for whatever reason, then I want to be able to like offer you a way to get it for free. If you
Yeah.
don't want to like go to bootleg route, which I really don't care either. You can totally bootleg my shit.
Yeah. That's actually something that I could speak to you about because you're actually a producer. I mean, so I
Yeah,
used to make music like years ago, but I'm really a publisher over promoter over producer. But yeah,
yeah,
totally that like SoundCloud or whatever you see all the time. Like people are like I'm like man, people are like freaking tripping over themselves to offer up the free download. But I know like SNR like that guy. I
yeah,
talked to him like maybe a couple years ago, and he said, yeah, the thing is, it's okay because even sometimes if you offer up your stuff as free downloads because you push your name out, yeah, you can still build up a lot
yeah.
of fan base.
Oh,
But like,
brother, it works. I'm not even kidding. It really
yeah,
works. It works fast too.
mm,
So I think anybody who's trying to like, because for me, I kind of kept the same strategy when I first started creating melodic progressive. When I first started, I was just like, I'm just gonna try to do 1 track a week, and it'll just be free and it'll just be on my SoundCloud and whoever wants it can grab it, kind of thing. And then people discovered me from doing that, and it just kept
yeah,
going. And then I kind of stopped for a little bit, especially once I've got like people, like labels. I was talking to labels and working with, people and stuff. I slowed down because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to be, I don't want to be, I, I don't know, like not doing people's tracks justice or something. I don't know. I got into my head about it, I guess, and then 2019 came around because I'm full time in it, and I was like, man, this is kind of a way for me to get my juices back into it, and I can
Mhm.
learn how to release it all myself, be completely independent as far as understanding what's happening from my track as soon as I export it from
Yeah,
FL to
yeah.
uploading it to whatever to get it onto Spotify or YouTube or sound, that whole process.
So you're on Spotify too? I was actually wondering, are you on Spotify?
Oh yeah, definitely, dude, definitely. I'm
Yeah.
all over Spotify. I mean, I'm everywhere. Everywhere that I can put my music on, I have definitely tried to put my music on there. I just emailed the label. I don't even know, yesterday, or not the label, but my distribution company, Proton. I emailed Proton, right? I emailed them and I said, hey, when is our music gonna be on TikTok? Basically, I want to know it's gonna be on the next social media platform because I want to start being able to pull my music up on there and make videos to it with just adding my music wherever I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things, yeah, I think I would definitely say is being everywhere. I know, like, say, so the latest
Yeah.
Electrons podcast, the 2 year anniversary, it's like I made a post on my own Facebook. It's like I think within the first 2 days, it beat the previous top played thing I had done by like 5x, and 3 days like freaking 7x.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still I'm like, and it's it's gonna it's
Your
trying to
2 year
just under
podcast?
yeah, just under 5,000 plays. It just blew away the previous, numbers are
Oh
relative
yeah.
too. But the thing is, what you want to see is growth, and you want to see your networks grow. And I think that
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
reasons were just because, people shared it. It's really just getting people. I was going to say it too, which I'm sure you know, but
Yeah.
totally, man, power is like, of the network is getting people to share the stuff, which means, of course, you got to have quality content, but being everywhere, yeah. Like
Right, right.
I'm on SoundCloud, I'm on Mixcloud, and you're right,
Yeah.
TikTok. I mean,
Yeah.
what is TikTok? Is it like a social network kind of deal too?
TikTok's like it's like where you can make short videos, kind of like do you remember Vine?
Uh,
Or
maybe.
um it's like people get on there and they make really funny, cute dancing videos, and it's for
Oh,
like a
okay.
younger audience for sure. But it
Hmm.
definitely has its place in melodic progressive and music in general. Like musicians can
Hmm.
definitely take advantage of that. It's a platform. It's kind of like just Snapchat or Instagram or anything else. It's just another
Okay.
face for it. But you can learn it and be kind of proficient and try to make something that might get you some attention for a video for some promotion for your music some way.
Yeah, because I definitely they have numbers. I guess it's really
Yeah.
they've really got like it's kind of amazing to me how in some ways, MySpace has been down for like whatever time now.
Yeah.
How like new things like can make it out there like Twitch. Like at
Yeah.
first, like I feel like I need to wrap my head around Twitch because Above and Beyond they had like their a used live stream. They were here in San Francisco, Twitch headquarters, and I checked some of it out. And
Yeah.
Twitch, I feel like has some of the new like recency kind of deal, but it's kind of like, how does that compete? But I guess maybe streaming, maybe it's like live streaming. Videos, of course, nothing can really. Well, I used to think you can't touch YouTube, but there's all kinds of. There's a lot of other like Vimeo, and there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
maybe Vine was like that. There's other
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. You can do Facebook video. It's
Yeah.
like there's other things you can do, but yeah, it's probably just learning
Well, I
the
think the top
platform.
platforms for musicians right now, man, I think the top ones are YouTube. You
Hmm.
definitely need to be uploading stuff to YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of people that I think use YouTube, including myself, man. I used YouTube a lot when I was like gaming and I listened to music. So definitely YouTube, Instagram are like the top two, and Facebook, yeah. What did I say? Top five: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. TikTok, and Twitter. Oh, and probably LinkedIn too. I think LinkedIn's starting to become a thing as well. I just
Oh,
been
really?
listening to podcasts and stuff from different people, and then I heard about LinkedIn being a thing. And I'm not like too big on it yet because I'm just like trying to trying to learn it. I don't really have an excuse, but I just haven't really spent the time to really
Yeah.
investigate it and figure it out, you know?
Yeah, yeah, YouTube, that's actually, I was going to tell you that, yeah, that's one of the things which I think I've mentioned before. Like, well, yeah, we did one of your exclusives, I think, or we're going to do another one, right? Come out one of your set for tracks. But yeah, YouTube
Yeah,
is
yeah,
one of the things. It's still a new channel for Electro fans that
yeah,
it's funny you say that because just today, or this week, I want to start maybe making some regularly, like doing like maybe
mm-hmm,
one or two tracks. That's something that I read too, and I think that you're totally sounds like you had some nice success
yeah,
building your network out of like being consistent and setting like a regular schedule. So do you
yeah,
have like are you doing like you're doing like one or two one release a week, right? You
yeah.
push.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and basically that's kind of like how I kind of align my whole social media like strategy too. So I could, in theory, I could post once a day, and it would be a different song I could post about in a different like thing. So like today would be, I got a new track coming out today. I would love for y'all to, here's a preview of a new track coming out. Just something to like a teaser or something.
Yeah.
But so once a week though is usually like the idea because consistency. You're right. Like you want people to come back. So you definitely want to keep that consistent presence, even if it's like not a lot. Just I think something is better than nothing. But I'm
Yeah,
trying to
that's
I'm
true.
trying to do like I'm trying to up that frequency a lot, man, because I think it's important to communicate with your viewers and give people
Oh
things to
yeah.
think about and
Hmm.
also give them perspectives. Like I want anybody who like knows about me or knows about what I do to also know about the people that are in the scene. And like what if somebody wants to do it in some ways the way I've done it, and who could they talk to, or what kind of things do people look for as well.
Yeah, that's actually another thing too, Donovan. Yeah,
Hmm.
this one, can we maybe you can snip this one from your
Yeah,
recording here? This is something that I wanted to talk about. Just like one of the things actually I want to bring up. You kind of made
absolutely.
me think of it like off the record kind of thing. So yeah, one of the things that I want to ask you about is if you might be interested in being like. So one of the things that I'm going to be planning on doing is up and coming with Electrofans is
Hmm.
sort of like line up like a group of like not too many to start with, like people that are like that I think are in a certain level, and I think you're in that level of producers that could be available like as coaches too. I think you maybe you're doing that on your Patreon. So one of
Uh-huh.
the things I want to offer is so what I'm doing with Electrofans is trying to move it more to like a company business that offers services, but still of course keep the blog because the
Yeah, yeah,
content and the streams. I mean the podcasts and stuff. But
yeah.
one of the things I want to do is like line up a group of people like yourself that could be available, like to be say if I get somebody that says, hey, I want to hire you guys. I mean, talk money here. I have to figure out pricing on it, but maybe we could work out like I don't know, like a commission thing or something like that, and small group of people that could be on hand as a team of like coaches. Yeah, like for
Oh yeah.
production tips. And would you be interested in maybe being in that group or something like that?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea actually, and I mean I'd be happy to help out when I can.
Yeah. So what I was thinking of doing was to start it, kind of like the testimonials deal. Like maybe if like once I get like say three, four, five people or so together, could
Hmm.
I like list you on there as saying here's our group of coaches, like our art's top producers, and I'll give you the links back and stuff. Is that can I just start off by doing something like that when I get ready? Is that okay?
um, yeah, I
You'll
think
work
it's
out
all
the
right.
details too. I feel like
Yeah,
it's like basically for a business thing. Your first deal is like get customers, that are there,
yeah,
and then but I want to be able to say that that I could have people that would be able to do that, and we can work out like
yeah.
schedules. And I mean I don't really think that for it might take a while for I actually get people that would say, hey, I want to go
Hmm.
with you guys, but I think a couple things. One, it would be something that a really cool thing that I want to have a couple electric fans offer. But
Yeah.
of course, for you potentially, it'd be a new source of either a little bit maybe revenue and maybe exposure too. So yeah, I can keep you in the loop. And what I want to do too is, like I
Sure.
said, get like a few other kind of like the testimonials page. Like, you
Yeah.
want to have a few people in there, and then once you have it ready, you can kind of
Hmm.
make the page. Yeah. And thanks a lot again for that.
Yeah.
It's a really nice review for the about the electrifiers. Yeah, I put you at the last word, going out with a really nice one for Donovan Towns. So thanks.
No, man, thank you. Thank you really for sure for like thank you for supporting my music as a music artist, man, for sure. Like I just honestly personally the whole reason of this call was for me to say that was like I just really want to personally say
Oh yeah,
thank you
you're welcome.
for
Yeah,
supporting my music. Thank you for reaching out to me and and working with me and just you always have like a great attitude. You're very friendly and like
oh,
I
thanks.
wish
Yeah,
everybody had like that energy, when I talk to them or just I just feel it, man, and I think it's good
yeah.
and I
That's
appreciate
one of the
it.
things, Donovan. Yeah, I feel like it's that's the thing. It's like people like Luna Shimada, JP Launcher. I mean, the thing is, I don't know how if you've been to Lecture Fans account. It's cool. It doesn't matter. Whenever,
Hmm.
probably maybe once in a while. But the thing is, if you go there, the thing is, if people are like even semi fans of Lecture Fans, you can kind of see. I do kind of support like yourself, like
Yeah.
regular kind of people and kind of things. So you can kind of see Luna Shimada makes a lot of posts. That one of the girl from Japan, and
Yeah,
Kana
yeah.
and
And she's
JP
awesome.
Lancherry. Oh yeah, JP Lancherry, and
Hmm.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
where I'm going with this is like it's like they're in it because it's like this mutual like synergy. Yeah, that's the thing, and
Yeah.
we feel each other. Jerry Chu for a while, I think you probably work with him, probably
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of his
Salute
Selena.
music. Hmm.
I've met him. I've met him a few times. He lives around the
Cool.
Bay Area, yeah. And it's like, it's similar wavelengths, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's just like it really, like you were saying back to your question earlier, it really is kind of born out of like I put in my post a labor of love, because I won't.
For
Well,
sure.
it's not making very much,
Hmm.
actual money. That's one of the whole. See, okay, so this is one of the things with the music industry, and I'm still maybe I want to ask a little bit about this too, like the
Yeah.
streaming thing on like Spotify and I'm like people tripping over themselves for free downloads. How can
Yeah.
we freaking monetize this industry? And the thing is, I know we're not like pinstripe bean counting sales Joe. That's not why we do this. Like for
Hmm.
example, right? So, but at the same time, I mean, I'd rather. Here's the thing, man. I would rather do electrify. I'd really fully realize I'd rather do electrifies full time
Yeah.
than work for some Mick web company where my heart really isn't at all. So
Yeah,
one of
man,
the
for
things I want
sure.
to do is like get some folks together, and I know you'd be one of them. There's
Hmm.
certain JP would be one that how can we it's an incredible, daunting task, but I'm like, how can we monetize something out of it, but still have some integrity, not just have some like crappy, like total, like giant box EDM.
Hmm.
That's one of the things too. I feel like if I did cover more of that stuff, it's like I know some people I think feel like I'm solely focusing on prog house. It's like that's kind of one of my personal favorites, but I mean, everybody knows it's a two-way thing that the commercial stuff is in the big box, but a lot of stuff I personally don't like. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's where a lot of the numbers are. But my thing is how, whether it's prog house or just soulful deep house, how can we kind of band together and I want to get like a think tank together. Yeah. So
Hmm.
specifically, so like
Yeah.
on Spotify, so like so are you making like a little bit of bucks out of that from your
Off of
streams or
Spotify? Yeah,
yeah?
for sure.
Oh yeah,
Spotify
good.
pays me.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Spotify pays me, so does YouTube. Um, Beatport sells on there. I get it's a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of stuff, and then royalties from I don't know. Like the royalties are all just a big chunk sometimes of just it
Yeah.
siphons to you. But
Huh.
I think the way to monetize it and the way to like get people where it get to the point where you could operate it at a full time basis is just you just have to like man, you have to up the ante on all the content and on your
Yeah.
brand, and you've already got you've already got the brand down, and you got the framework in place,
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the
So
things that I've hammered home, and I feel like too for
yeah,
electrons with that new like orange power button kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because like I think last night I was scrolling through like Instagram and I mean I don't know. Hopefully it's the case, but I'm thinking that thing stands out. That's the thing. Whether you're an artist or publisher, that's the thing. It's so damn competitive. I mean, you
Yeah.
really got to stand out too. Like this is, I don't know, say confidential. You can tell people if you want, but I'm still waiting back from him. But I mean, you probably know the guy JTech, right? The producer JTech, right?
Not like
Oh, you
personally.
haven't? Okay, well, have you heard of JTech, like the producer guy of JTech,
Yeah,
or
I
maybe you
think
haven't?
I have, man. I have, I'm bad
Oh,
with
okay.
names. I really
Oh,
am.
that's okay. But this
Yeah.
guy JTech, he's like a famous dude in the scene, like the worldwide trance scene, and
Uh-huh.
I've got like an interview with him pending. I mean, I'm just waiting for him to get back to me because I mean, this guy's like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he personally knows like the guys at Above and Beyond, right? So we're talking
Yeah.
about that kind of. But anyway, so that's one of the things that I asked him about was like, do you have some tips to kind of same old deal, like to monetize stuff for people in the electronic music
Yeah.
field, and also how can you stand out in the crowd? Because with the
Yeah.
mixes too, everyone and their freaking brother and sister. That's literally what I asked him. I had, oh, you've got a mix, you've got a podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like on the one hand you've got to be out there being consistent, but yeah, you've really got to stand out. But yeah, as far as the branding, sorry, back to what we were saying. Yeah,
No.
I'm thinking that I've kind of gotten some of that with the Electrofans
Yeah.
stuff for the branding.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's still the beginning, like you have all these things
Yeah,
you need to do,
yeah,
but the whole core of it all, like for me, what really makes me the most is not really like the selling of the music. It's just the continual pushing of my music out there where people like see
hmm
me and they go back to my old stuff and yada yada yada, so it's just
yeah,
like
yeah,
you keep the content rolling and then the money's gonna come when it's good enough, you know
yeah.
that's the way
That's
I
true.
see it.
Like each track or each release you push out there, that's true. I've read that in a nice article too, and that's true. Like if someone comes in, say to your music, say they like your track Santa Cruz, right, and then they see another
Hmm.
one you like, or say
Yeah.
someone comes in for like say the Progressive Trance Power Hour
Yeah.
podcast, they might say, oh, I like this guy's Aria mix on Electrofans. You get cross promotion. They can discover. And you're right. So the more points of intake that someone gets, the more. Yeah, that's a really excellent. Yeah, point. So more
Well,
releases is better. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
it's just when it boils down to it, it's like if anybody wants to make money from doing this at all, for sure, in 2019, you have to be on every social media, every marketing,
Yeah.
using all that to its fullest extent. So I mean, you have to like understand ads and kind of work and learning how to use ads, and you got to understand how you make a post on Instagram and see if you can make similar, just
hmm
or just learn how to operate in that framework because there's a lot of, there's billions of people on in between these platforms, and you don't need every single
Yeah.
one of them to
Yeah.
do something, but you get some that might really like you and they support your vision, and they want to be a part of the cool breeze, and that's cool, and they can you have it all ready for them if they want to do it.
Yeah, that leads me to another thing too. Like I
Hmm.
recently found this girl, this Canadian girl. She's got this really great series of like posts about growing yourself, your own personal brand, and like getting
Okay.
traction on like YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram. And she posted something that made me think of kind of what I said to you a bit back to earlier about like sometimes
Yeah.
more is not more. Sometimes this, again, smaller mid-sized network is better than pushing this mass flood because you can get lost in the thing. She was saying that
Yeah.
I started to take some of her advice, like say on Instagram, right? When you post, of course, the invariable like freaking hashtag thing, but
Yeah.
the whole deal about shadow banning, I think they have maybe shadow banned me a bit. So what you want to do is maybe don't actually hashtag like EDM or like progressive house, but maybe do something like maybe for example like a hashtag progressive house mix or like something that has actually a smaller number of people following that tag,
Well,
so
yeah, you have to
because
do
you get
that.
lost if it's
That's
too big.
hashtag
Yeah,
culture. I mean,
yeah,
that's for sure. You need to be investigating hashtags that are like not overpopulated but still relevant to what you're
yeah.
posting.
Oh, so you're
And
already on that. So you're already on that, huh? That's pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, it's essential. Now, you don't have to do all 30 though. I mean, I do all 30
Yeah.
because I'm new still. Like even though I have 800 360 followers on Instagram, you know,
That's a
like
good number, man. That's a
I'm
good
not,
number.
you know,
Because
I'm
it's
not,
hard. I found it's been really hard. Instagram up to
yeah,
like 530 now. It's tough, but a lot of the
yeah,
folks I'm kind of looking at that I'm looking at, they're like 2,000. So that's kind of the goal. It's like you that's a good,
yeah.
pretty good number, I think. Yeah,
Well,
800's not
it's
bad.
just you know, just keep on putting that
Yeah,
stuff out there, and you just
yeah,
got to be less. It's got to be less perfect, you know. Excuse me.
yeah,
It's got to be less perfect, and you can't dress it up and make it all pretty all the time.
yeah. That's
Especially
true.
when it comes to that. So it's kind of like what this is, man. Like I'm calling you. I know it was kind of you didn't know really quite you were going to be recorded, but yeah, like I'm doing it, you know, and I can't
Yeah.
wait. I can't be like, okay, let's do it at this time, and then you know something will pop up again, and then you know how it goes.
Well, I
So
know what you mean with that too. Like in a way,
yeah,
I was kind of like that, and it's true, man. Like one of my best friends, he was kind of like, if you want to, only way to make it is in this thing is really basically post as close to every day, which is like kind of bananas, like batshit crazy.
not
But
every day, like 3 or 4 times a
y-
day on different
well, oh
platforms.
really? Well, see, that's funny you say that too. Yeah, because like I
Yeah,
say, like I've done a little self-analysis, and I've looked at guys like EDM.com and like Progressive Astronaut, like DJ Mag, and
yeah.
yeah, they're freaking doing like not like a couple times a week, and not even daily. Yeah, exactly, man. They're doing like three or two, three, four every day, which is
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And you
But
can do that too, man. Like for example,
yeah,
take this, you know, I'm gonna send you this, right? I'm
yeah,
gonna send you this like audio and you can take what you want from this audio and you can
okay,
post snippets of it on like your Instagram and your
yeah. Hey,
SoundCloud.
that's a cool idea, man.
So
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing this and
thanks,
that's why
man.
I'm recording it because
Yeah,
you're going to be like, you said some gems, I may say some
uh
gems,
huh,
and you could take some good things from this, I can take some
yeah,
good things from this, and we can promote each other because, you know,
yeah.
I'm going to post this
Thanks,
on
man.
my I'm gonna post this on my SoundCloud as, you know,
Sure, yeah,
podcast and I don't, you know, you can post whatever you like on yours, you know, just be like, "Hey, I talked to Zafer from or Donovan from, you know, on his podcast, you know, hashtag the Cool Breeze podcast. That's the whole thing of it. And I really want to like help provide value to not just like you know artists and other people, but to the you know like you know people of the industry where you wanna have content to create and you want things to
yeah,
do and
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. And I'm gonna definitely be creating a whole bunch of it, and I want to include you in part of that as well, especially because you're just you know I feel like you have the brain for it. You know, you have the ideas for it. You just maybe you could just get some help in the execution,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is it. You know,
That's the deal. Totally, man. It's the thing. I
I
feel
mean,
like
what's different for me and you sitting across from each other and you know having a beer. Well, I don't really drink beer, but a whiskey or something, and talking about whatever. You
uh-huh.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's definitely keep that going and use that kind of momentum to you know because you can make I'm thinking just from this talk, man. I'm just thinking, man, I can make so much from this. There's so much for me to do on this, but that's the whole point. You know, that's what we want. That's what I want. I want to be able, and also it just gives people a more in-depth insight and look at who I am
See,
and
that's
what I
exactly,
do.
you hit on another thing too that a friend of mine was saying, and I met this
Yeah.
woman recently too. I think that she was kind of a top person in the industry too. That's her company, and I think that's what she was saying too. Like show the personal side of things and the story aspect. Like, what is your story? I feel like in a way, like that's been kind of overblown. It almost become made like a cheesy thing. Because I kind of look at
Hmm.
like Instagram and Facebook stories as freaking spam, but in theory, what they're supposed to be though, and if it's a good, if it's all about reaching the people that want to see your stuff, yeah, and if they like your
Yeah.
stuff, then that's what a story is supposed to be like, giving
Well, you have
insight
to.
into what
Yeah, you have to. You
what you're
have to
doing.
use it for what it's
Hmm.
meant for, you know?
Hmm.
You have to take advantage of the fact that it's disappearing content for 24 hours and that what you post in the morning, somebody might not check their Facebook until that night, you know? So your post might not even make it. You know, it's just like a lot of variables are involved. So you really can't hurt yourself by posting too much. right now. As long as it's not like really spam, you know, like yeah, it'll be 3 or 4 posts, but each one are I don't know, whatever's engaging for what you think is engaging for your audience and or that you like. For me, it's just my music, but I also want to be able to start helping out with I don't know, supporting other people's networks, sharing other artists that I'm working with, or sharing more like uh, uh, my views on things, more behind the scenes of just me, you know?
Yeah, see, the thing is, I think
I don't know.
that's where it's at. Like I know this guy
Yeah.
too here in SF called Scott Brio. He's got a thing just like this too, a podcast. I think it's
Hmm.
called The Voice of Electronic Music. That's the
Okay.
thing, and you can see on Twitter too. Like every time I see when he's live on there too, it's kind of like if someone's on Facebook or Instagram, you see the story.
Hmm.
Everyone. The thing about that though, your
Yeah.
advantage of that though, yeah, is that everyone can see that so and so, Donovan just added to his story. So if you're interested, if you're
Yeah.
not, of course it doesn't matter. But if you are, these
Right.
and like if you're doing a live thing on Twitter too, it jumps on the top of your thing. So
Yep.
but he's got this thing. I'm like, man, I want to get on that thing too. I still want to try to
Yeah.
talk to that guy about appearing on that. That's the thing. One of the things I want to do with the Electrofans, basically the SoundCloud space with it is not always maybe either on the podcast themselves, like add more like interview stuff, or also just have features in between the podcast because that's like once a month. But I want to start
Hmm.
maybe like you say, man. I mean, I know this guy too online. His name is Joey Suki. Dude, check him out if you haven't heard of this guy. This guy is a monster, man. This
Okay.
guy is like I'm gonna reach out to him too. I think he's a Dutch
Yeah.
guy. This guy knows his shit, and he's a top guy. And some of the stuff
Yeah.
he says is just most of it is gold. And
All
some of the
right.
stuff he said, like I mentioned, is like he's already mentioned, like consistency and just push it
Hmm.
out and just it doesn't always
Yeah.
have to be perfect and get your thing out there. You know.
Yeah, man. And B, I think the cool thing is I think you should be kind of like raw and
Authentic,
uncut in the
yeah.
beginning
Hmm.
because it's like, man, this guy's doing it
Yeah,
like
you're right.
from
That's
his
true.
basement, you
Yeah,
know?
that
Yeah.
even has a better appeal than being like a staged, like rehearsed,
Yeah.
sterile thing from a
Yeah.
script. That's true, man. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. So it's like this is part of the journey, man. It's part of how we evolve and grow because next year you might not be in the same room talking to the same person. You
yeah.
would
It's
have
true.
many other people coming to you for all types of things just from uh, one random occurrence in an encounter. So I think it's more of like, yeah, make the content, make it kind of rough and ragged, but I mean, do it to the way it's supposed to be done. Like a podcast is you talk on it, and
Yeah,
then
that's right. Yeah.
but you don't have to be like all the musical intros and the perfectly made, because that comes with time and that comes with a lot more effort and work and but the more you do it and the more it's possible for that stuff to happen a lot easier than you think, so I mean, let's do it,
So there's something I was gonna say. I can't remember. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
basically so like yeah. Oh, I know. What I was gonna say yeah. So I'm still it's on the docket. I mean, it's just I've been wanting to make this a post on Electrofans blog
Uh-huh.
because as you might know, like on Electrofans in the blog, there's a category like about a couple categories about for electronic. Again, with the whole goal of like trying to get have people help each other out, like
Yeah.
develop, in smaller independent type electronic music biz people, promoters, producers. And so one of the things I'm going to make is a post, like a little guideline of sharing some of my own tidbits about like how to social media. And one of the things that it made me think of earlier, struck in my mind, was that I don't feel like there's really a magic number, like how many posts you make, but a bit more is more what you want. Yeah, like if you don't post enough, you will, it's not going to be. You could lose followers. I've heard stories like people that have like tons of millions of followers that if they stop like 1 week, they take a week or a month off, they'll lose followers. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and on the flip side of that too, I feel like is like there's a certain thing where maybe there's a threshold where if you do too much, I've noticed this too. You might have noticed this too. Like
Hmm.
if you post a bit more, people like they'll unfollow you. But I
Yeah,
was just thinking of this today right before the call. Unfollowers are completely freaking irrelevant, though. That doesn't have to be
exactly.
cocky. You know what I'm saying? It's like
No, it's
it's
true.
a mix. It's a risk you're going to take. But the thing is,
Yeah.
you'll probably gain a lot more than
Well, I
because the
mean, you're out there
unfollowers.
in the
Some
field,
people worry
man.
about them, but you
You're out
can't
there
sweat
doing it.
the. Yeah, you can't sweat those unfollowers. What you're looking for is to
Nah.
grab more people that like what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the deal.
The people that like you, they'll stay and they'll look at it. And the people that
Yeah,
don't like
exactly.
you, they'll unfollow you and go. That's kind of how it works. Like the same for
Yep.
you. If you're on
Yep.
Instagram and you don't like what somebody's posting, you'll just unfollow them and move to the next
Hmm.
one. You really
Hmm.
can't you really can't overdo it really, but you can spam, you know what I mean? But you can't
Yeah.
really overdo it. I don't think you can post too much because people what's not going to work with somebody who they might not like that post, but they're not going to unfollow you because of it, you know. Something
Yeah.
else is going to work for them and they're like, "Hey, I like that." Just the whole, combination and collection of that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the way it's designed, man. We should have fun with it, and we shouldn't worry about what anybody's really got to say about it because nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? Like nobody
See
has it all fucking
that's a
figured
good
out.
one.
It's just like
Yeah,
we
that's
just
an
got to do
excellent
it.
point. That I guarantee if we were to add this guy Joey Suki onto this car right now, I guarantee he'd be like,
Yeah, you want
fuck
to
yeah,
add
you
them?
guys are right, man.
Is he on
Well, I mean,
Facebook?
no, no, I'm just saying, like, I
Oh,
mean, this guy, I feel like he's a top dog, but he may say I'm not a top dog. I got like 10K network because people. I bet he would say this, yeah, because he posts like, you
yeah,
really convinced me, Don, man. I need to get like more.
yeah,
you know, I mean, yeah, I do kind of feel like you really do kind of need a minimum of 2 or 3 posts a week on social media. And
yeah. It's a
you
lot of
know,
work. It's a lot of work, man.
oh,
But
it
it's
is in
it's like
time,
the best kind
but
of work you could do. For me, I love putting in the work where it's like I'm making this post and I'm doing this work up. I'm trying to design all this, and I try to do like 2 or 3. I mean, I post across all my platforms on a fairly quote unquote consistent basis. I
and
was
I see
off
it
last
too.
month,
Yeah, I
but
think I see you're doing that too, and that's you're right though. That regularity, that kind of
yeah,
consistency, that's one of the things that to success. Yeah, because you will, I think, turn a corner if you keep banging like regularly every week. Yeah, I think that
yeah,
you got to
man,
do that.
smash it
And,
out. Especially, but it's fun to do if you love what you're
mhm.
doing. So it's a passion thing. Like
Yeah, you got to come
I'm
back to that. There's no doubt about. That's what I've been thinking too. The other
right.
day, I was like, because it's a fuckload of work. But I'm like, you got to
Yeah.
remind yourself sometimes. Like you asked me why to get into this. Like listening to like Prof or like JTech or some of that gritty stuff from back in 2013. You got to
Hmm.
get back to some of that era and re-inspire yourself
Yeah.
regularly.
Yeah.
That's the key to get you staying in the game because it's
Yeah.
brutal. And I feel like everyone will say that the music even like
Oh,
guys
dude.
like Armin van Buren and Above and
Hmm.
Beyond, I guarantee they'll be like, man, this is a slog, but they do it because they love it, and they're not only making money, they're making a lot of money doing it. It's
Oh,
like,
but there's so much room. I know it's like, oh, you got to be whatever, but everybody is so unique with their music. If you really are
yeah,
making your own music, man, you have your own like niche right there. Because the stuff I make sometimes is from A to Z. You know what I mean? Like, I have a preference, but I definitely will go A to Z with my music. I don't care if it's like super slow or super fast. I just settled on melodic progressive house because I wanted something to like come always, I wanted that to be the thing I crafted and created from scratch.
yeah, and I
And I
think
love it.
it shows in your music too, like a variety.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because like I even commented on that post I made about the Electrofans 2 year anniversary. I
Hmm.
put like doing the something like I made a comment because this guy Jay Capo, who I actually met, he
Yeah.
came to San Francisco. He's a kick-ass drum and bass guy from Chicago. I met him here,
Okay.
and he made a comment. Thanks for supporting a variety of artists on the 2 year anniversary podcast for
Yeah.
Electrofans post I made. And I said, yeah, doing the pan genre uh, shuffle before it was cool because I do kind of feel like back
Yeah.
like around like whatever. What I'm saying is I feel like within the last couple of years now. In fact, I even made a whole category on genre on electrofans.com because like
Hmm.
you see posts about like tech trance and deep progressive. A lot of things in the last couple of years is common now. A lot of stuff you hear is like blending like deep house and progressive tech and trance. And again, some kind of goofballs, man. You'll see like, oh, it's not pure. Fuck the pure, whatever. That's one of my things, man. I mean, I've always been about blending genres, and I think you can hear it in your music that
Yeah.
what you just said. I think you're covering. It doesn't have to just be prog house too. It's like, that's cool to do that, but it's nice to have a good variety of genres. I've always kind of felt like
Yeah,
that.
man. Just make the music you want to make and exert your freedom within it. Like I mean, you learn how to make it. You learn what's good. You know what's the best or whatever. But when you come down to it, man, when it's you in that studio and it's you in that canvas of music, you just gotta make it. Like you just gotta just put it on there. It doesn't matter what anybody's gonna say about it. It's not for, oh, this is this kind of sound or this kind of label will like it, or like you just
Hmm.
take all the
Yeah,
kind of labels of what you want it to be, man, and you just sit there and create that thing. That's your baby. You grow it and you
yeah,
you turn it into whatever it becomes. So then it becomes a melodic progressive house tune, or it's just not
hmm,
all that other stuff of it all kind of falls away because at the end of the day, next year or whatever, you don't, you won't even really care about the likes and the who supported
that's
it
a
or
really good
whatever.
point too. Yeah, that's true. You can change your. That's a really good point. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
it's
man.
really interesting how you just happens to be. Maybe that's like with me too, and some of the people in our little virtual circle we have, the prog house people. Maybe it just turns out that the music that we kind of like has kind of some dramatic aspects, melodic, and it just tends to be kind of called progressive house, but it's not necessarily. That's interesting how you
Nah,
put
man.
that.
I don't really make progressive house music that much anymore. It's all for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Mine's usually melodic progressive, and I feel like it's a different. When I look
really.
for for example, when I first found Rolled Velden,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
when I finally, like, it didn't say what genre he was at first, whatever
Uh
video or
huh.
however I found him. It was just like, and so I
Uh huh.
finally looked and found it, and it said progressive house, and I was like, okay, and I looked at like other progressive house tracks, and I'm like, nah, this is not progressive house. Like it's kind of like progressive house, but this is not progressive house. This is something different.
See,
So
I know what you mean. Some stuff
yeah,
out there, and I've seen people complain about it, but it's true. Sometimes stuff gets tagged and billed as progressive house, but it's maybe more like club or it's not really. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like, what would you say is the difference between? Because to me, maybe prog house and melodic progressive are kind of similar. I mean, it's just more
yeah, they're
melody.
similar. No, yeah, they're similar for sure. What's similar to me, honestly, brother, the only thing that's similar to me between progressive house and melodic progressive house is that it's usually a four on the floor, and usually it has like, I don't know. Sometimes the bass lines can be, they could be like the rhythmic version of it is similar. The rhythmic variation,
Hmm.
like the riffs, are
Okay.
the same. Yeah, those are the same riffs. But the melodic version of it is completely different. Like how people take the melodies and how they take the bass line and how they go about it. And to me, well, and this was like years ago too. This was back in like 2013 or 14 when I like first
Hmm.
was looking at them, and I was like,
Hmm.
this is not what progressive house is. Now I'm sure because I've released so much myself in the progressive house category. I'm sure it's a little bit more muddied together. It just wasn't the same back, at least at that time. But to me, I felt like there's always a difference because melodic progressive seems to be like a lot more slower, a lot more
Hmm.
like emotional
Okay.
driven with the melodies.
Oh, okay.
It's
Huh.
very like, it's very like or uninspiring, like super kind of I don't know. It just
See, that's interesting too, because you said that emotional. I'm thinking of three names, so Silk Music. I'm sure you heard of them. They tag
yeah,
themselves as like
yeah,
emotional, progressive, and then I
yeah.
think,
They are
um,
like the best representation to me of like melodic progressive for sure.
yeah. So those guys call. They mention the word emotional, and there's Nick. What's his name? Nick's. I forget his last name now. Has a label, Emotional Content Recordings. There was a third one too. Yeah, Emotive. I think even Vince Forge. Vince Forge, the Dutch guy,
Yeah,
DJ
dude,
and
he's
producer.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
totally.
up, Vince?
We've got a nice little symbiote, nice synergy thing too. I think he's
Yeah.
mentioned melancholic, but to me, melancholic, melodic, that's interesting. So maybe
Yeah.
that kind of sets the melodic prog apart from regular progressive house. Yeah. To me too,
Yeah.
ultimately, what's
It's
in a genre is whatever you make it. Deep
right.
house. Me, I've always liked all kinds of music, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as you know too, there's a lot of people that really trance is their only kind of
Yeah.
thing they like, or only like progressive house. But and it makes
Yeah.
me think too. Again, back to like the '08 days, like Above and Beyond, and the original like Armin van Buuren's shows. He used to call the radio show as trance and progressive. So
Mm-hmm.
although now I think that really stuff is more like trancey oriented, or even like EDM. EDM too.
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk about this too. So just for a second. So EDM. It's funny because it's like EDM gets dropped like around a lot. Like even electro fans, people say it's like electronic dance music. I mean, a lot of electronic stuff you can kind of say. Like when I meet people and I tell them about electro fans, like, oh, so is that like dance music? And it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the EDM tag. I think you can throw to a lot of stuff. Well, your music, I wouldn't probably call it all probably something like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever done something that's like any EDM kind of vein at all? Would you say? Or?
Yeah, man, I do like it. I for sure like it. Like I love like I one of my dream journeys is like melodic dubstep or things like with
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
Black
like some
Meal or
dubstep too.
Midas or
Yeah.
but
Okay.
they're so far off down the line for me. I'm just like right now I just need to make my own music and
Hmm.
kind of establish myself in my own genre because even though I call it melodic progressive house, man, that's just honestly that's just a label that works for me. It's really like
Yeah.
Zafer. That's really the genre. The Cool Breeze is the genre.
Uh huh.
It's like the Cool Breeze because the amount of music that especially like that I'm coming out with that you're gonna be hearing soon. Next month is some good ones, man. But the amount of music I got coming out there and just the things that I'm making, I just feel like I don't know, man. There's just each song sometimes feels like it's its own genre. Does that make sense?
That's really cool. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
like the
just
concept. Yeah.
yeah, like they're their own world or something. Like I just call it progressive house or I slap the tag on it or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not really worried about what it is. So I mean, yeah, I've I love working with EDM styles, especially with people that are very unique and creative with how they like sound design and do things. That really like tickles me because I like to
Yeah.
try to
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
see that stuff. I'm like, ooh, that's cool, man. But typically right now though, I'm just more like interested in dabbling in uh, making my melodic progressive house, and I'm really happy with it, man. And I like to explore it a little bit more deeper. So I do things on the side, I do like other kind of genres, completely. Like I do love making hip hop on the side. Like I do it
Oh,
every other
really?
day or something. But it's like I still have a whole lot of things inside of melodic progressive that I want to explore and look more deeper into and see what I can uncover and find underneath.
See, yeah, I'm thinking like, if you're as
Yeah.
prolific as you are, like doing like at least one release a week, that's probably gonna. I'm thinking like, I mean, I never, well, okay, I never was honestly maybe that big in the Beatles, but some of those
Hmm.
guys, those old, bands from like the '60s, they'd say like they would push so much stuff, but that kind of creates them to go take it in totally wild new tack. So maybe
Yeah.
with you doing that, maybe it's going to open up crazy new types of little dents on your music. Yeah, by making
Yeah,
so
man,
much
for
music.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I love it too because it just pushes that out of me. And then with creating it once a week, I actually a lot of these songs I made, man, I made them like last month or earlier this year. It's just I just made them succession. So I got ahead of myself and I would just create maybe two or three a week, and then so I'd have one scheduled, and then the next one I could schedule that for next week, and then I create two or three the next week, and just kind of kept going like that because
Oh, okay.
it does push you to create. I like it because it pushes you to be a lot more creative in your music. So you're not just sticking to one little like you
Yeah.
can't stick to the same kind of pattern
Yeah.
of creating your songs because you're like
You've
I
already
just
done
use
that.
that pattern.
Yeah. I could
It's
see
like I
that.
just use
Yeah.
that
Maybe
pattern.
that's like what I was just thinking, like doing more. stuff kind of force that rigor and discipline of saying, okay, I got to do two, that forces you to push to make beyond some new boundaries with your content. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a secret. Well, I don't know if it's a secret, but I think a success too for publishing and social media. Used to me realize, man, is pre this woman from Vancouver I was talking about too. But it's true. Like Jerry Chu and I mentioned that too. I mean, everyone's doing that. I mean, a lot of people that are successful at publishing too is like kind of batching content. Like it's really hard, I feel like, but if you can, like, I'm starting to try to get more into like making stories to have on hand. So maybe you should do like 3 or 4,
Yeah.
articles or a category ahead of time. Then you can say, okay, then they're ready to go each week, publish. So pre-producing. Yeah. So it sounds like you've already
Yeah.
been
You
doing that.
develop your strategies,
Yep. Hmm. So
and
how
that's
long?
good. You want to develop your strategies for doing it.
So you do like
Um,
about one track or so a week. How long do you think it usually takes you like to finish from start to finish for a track? Would you say?
how long does it take me to finish the track, start to finish?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, typically an average project time for me is I want to say 8 hours
Hmm.
project time. But I usually typically finish. I haven't made any music last month. I was gone on vacation, hanging with the family. But
You got to do that too.
uh,
That's another thing. So you got to recharge the
yeah,
batteries, and you got to take some
yeah,
time away
yeah,
because it's a mad scene. This space. I've been doing that too, like
yeah,
working around the clock. You got to take some time, step away from the
yeah,
mechanisms,
yeah.
yeah, to recharge for
But
sure.
it's really random, man. Typically, though, average is eight
Hmm.
hours. But
Okay.
I've made tracks as low as 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
I
Huh.
made tracks as low as like an hour. I mean,
Wow.
as far as concepts, but then I'd probably spend the next 3 hours finishing it and be done. But then there's other times, man, where it takes me 12 to 14 to 18 hours project time. There's just no really. I'm usually pretty quick though. It's like how I take tests. I take tests really fast because once I know I have the answer, I just. Oh no, I lost him. But yeah, once I know I have the answer, I just go ahead and go right on in and finish it all out. Uh, so I lost him there, but it's a good time for me to go ahead and go anyways. Uh, so I just want to say first and foremost to everybody, thank you for hanging out with me, watching. Be sure and check out Kevin, his website. Check more and explore more about him, especially if you were like maybe an artist or anything like that. There's a lot of good to be found here. I definitely would say. So electrofans.com is the website for him. And the fella I was on the phone with, Kevin, is the CEO, owner, the creator of this. He manages it all, and this was our little chat. But they're also on SoundCloud, Mixcloud, all those other places, Facebook. And yeah, show them some love, and maybe reach out to them, and have a talk. Oh, let me see. Uh, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if they like chop it at like an hour. I can talk for maybe like another half hour or so, but I wasn't sure, so just I was talking, I didn't hear anything, so I just
Yeah, it cut off for a second, but it's cool,
uh,
man. I'm gonna go ahead and run anyways.
okay, yeah, sure, sure,
So
sure.
I want to say, man, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about it and just be a part of this whole thing, man. And I really appreciated the insight you gave me about your site and kind of what you're offering to people and how you have so much more visions for it in the future, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'd say thanks too, because I feel like yeah, in a way they could have done all this like fuckload of work. But the thing is,
Hmm.
like you mentioned the thing of like, your baby. It's like even though I didn't create that any of the music that's on Electrofans podcast, I do feel like they're like all 30 of those or whatever or so are my babies too, like the unique combination of stuff I've done. But
Oh
it's like
yeah,
me,
dude,
me
for
putting all that
sure.
massive time and work into it, but it's also the work of all the artists and creators too, and the label people. So, like I say, it's totally, man. I believe her that it's the network thing, and like you say, man, you
Yeah,
really I think hit home the biggest is just the consistency thing and just pushing. So yeah,
yeah,
let's
man.
talk again. I mean, maybe whenever we both
Okay.
get a chance again, and we'll have some more chats down the road for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it'd be great,
Oh
man.
yeah, for sure. I'm definitely down, brother. You want to go ahead and just maybe shout out anything, kind of promote your stuff real quick, show anybody who's listening how to find you and how to get a hold of you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Of course, the biggest, shortest starting point is just check out the website at electrofans.com, and then the social media at Electrofans Official on Facebook, Instagram, at Electrofans Feed on Twitter, and if you're on Mixcloud or SoundCloud, we're at Electrofans. So check us out. You can just shortest thing is just go to the website electrofans.com, and latest
Yeah.
thing we
Yep.
did, biggest thing, huge
Okay.
2-year anniversary podcast. So check it out. And
Yeah.
if
You put a
you're
tweet.
yeah, if you're an independent label out there, get in touch because we can
Okay.
help you with promotion, and info at electrofans.com is the email too. So yeah, I look forward to
All
hearing from
right,
everybody.
man.
And thanks a lot, Don,
Awesome.
for chatting. Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Hey, brother. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And you have a wonderful day, Kevin. And I will talk to you again. All right.
All right, you too, Don. Take it easy, man. I'll talk to you next
All right.
time. Yep, sounds cool.
Peace.
Okay, peace out. Bye-bye.
All right. So that's the actual official end, and you heard it all there. So thank you for keeping tuned. I think my next guest or other episode is actually I know my next guest. My next guest is going to be Southern Tier. He's a fella I have worked with. I want to say last year, maybe a year before in the past, and we've done some work together. And I'm gonna talk to him and pick his brain for a little bit. So thank you guys all for tuning in with me. Thanks for hanging with the Cool Breeze. Be sure to just maybe like, share, or comment. Really, really engage if you enjoyed it, man. If you enjoyed it. And as usual, have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.